Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're dissecting a footballing rivalry that really crackles with intensity. We're talking Chelsea and Manchester United.
Absolutely.
You sent over some fantastic material, Clash of Titans and others, looking at the key battles, the big names, the sheer weight of this whole competition.
Yeah, it's got quite a history.
So our goal today is to really cut through the narrative, understand the core forces that make this rivalry just so compelling.
And given how interested you are in this one, you'll know these roots go deep, really deep. It's shaped so much of English football, hasn't it? More than just the games themselves.
It really has. And what struck me from the sources was how it's not just about two teams locking horns. There's almost this cultural thing going on. Like one article called it a tale of two cities. London's sort of dynamic vibe versus Manchester's industrial grit. It adds another layer, don't you think?
Yeah.
Makes the games mean more.
Precisely. Yeah. It's like the matches become symbolic, a contest between these two powerful English identities.
Right.
So if we really want to get it, maybe we should start at the beginning. Look at the foundations, how these two clubs got to where they are.
Okay, yeah, let's unpack those early chapters. Chelsea, founded 1905, material says, really made its mark in London. That first league title in '55 under Ted Drake, that was big for them. And then, those later period success, some turmoil too, but especially the Abramovich era, that brought the European success.
Yeah.
Feels like them being consistently right at the top is maybe a bit more recent compared to United.
That's a good point. Yeah, while Chelsea had their moments early on, that sustained challenge for the big trophies, that's largely modern era stuff.
Right.
Driven by that huge investment, the ambition after Abramovich came in, and then winning in Europe, that cemented their place.
And then you've got Manchester United. Completely different story in some ways. The sources remind us, Newton Heath, 1878.
Way back.
Name change, 1902.
Yeah.
You get that sense of tradition right away. And the material really emphasizes that early ambition. Then the Busby Babes.
Yeah.
Legendary.
You can't talk United without Busby.
And you can't ignore Munich in '58 either. The tragedy, but then the recovery. It's quite remarkable how they came back even stronger.
It's central to their story, isn't it? That narrative of rebuilding under Busby after something so devastating. It created this deep-seated expectation of success, this resilience in the club's culture.
A legacy.
Exactly. A legacy that's always driven them. So you had both clubs rising, different histories, different ambitions, but that desire for supremacy. Those intense encounters we see now were almost, well, inevitable.
So the foundations are there. But when did it really catch fire? The sources talk about the birth of the rivalry, but it wasn't like flipping a switch, was it?
No, not at all. Early on, 20th century, they didn't meet that often, or perhaps the stakes weren't always as high.
Okay.
But as both clubs started seriously challenging for titles year after year throughout the century, suddenly those head-to-head games meant so much more. Title races, cups, everything was on the line.
And you can't ignore the managers, can you? The guys on the touchline. The material highlights that Busby's tactical genius versus, say, Mourinho's, his whole persona.
Oh, absolutely. The mind games, the touchline antics.
Yeah.
Beyond just the tactics, those personality clashes, think Ferguson versus Wenger generally, and then Ferguson versus Mourinho specifically later on, that was a whole other level. Psychological warfare became part of it.
Definitely shaped the mood.
It really did. It set the tone for entire seasons and definitely affected how players felt going into these specific games.
And it wasn't just on the pitch, was it? The sources mentioned transfers, like Juan Mata moving or Veron Matic. Players crossing that divide. That always adds spice.
Oh, hugely, yeah. When a player moves directly between big rivals, especially if it's a bit controversial or costs a lot, fans see it as betrayal or maybe a masterstroke by their own club. Adds so much narrative.
And then playing each other in Europe, too. That takes it beyond just English bragging rights, doesn't it? It's a continental prestige then.
Exactly. Europe amplifies everything. Bigger stage, bigger audience, often higher stakes for trophies or just getting through. It's proving yourself on a different level entirely.
Okay, so let's talk about some of those specific moments. The material guides us through some properly iconic matches. Where do we even start?
Yeah.
Maybe the '94 FA Cup final? United winning 4-0. That felt like a statement, didn't it? Secured their first double.
Definitely a watershed moment for Fergie's United, that dominance. Cantona, Hughes, McClare scoring, it just underlined how far ahead they were then.
A tough one for Chelsea fans.
A stark reminder, of the gap they needed to close back then.
Then jump forward to 2008, Moscow. Champions League Final.
Oh, the drama.
Unbelievable tension. United winning on penalties after 1-1. Watching that live must have been something else.
It really sums up the drama this rivalry can produce, doesn't it? The rain, Terry's slip. Could have won it for Chelsea right there.
I know.
And the shootout, going to sudden death. Just an emotional roller coaster. Massive win for United. Huge heartbreak for Chelsea.
But then, revenge. Sort of. 2012. Another Champions League final. Another 1-1. Another shootout.
But this time, Chelsea win it.
Their first Champions League title. Okay, United weren't in that final, but still felt like a big statement on the European stage after Moscow.
Absolutely. For Chelsea, after 2008, winning in Munich like that, it was redemption. It cemented them as a real European force.
And the Premier League clashes, too. Those games that basically decided the title. The material points to Chelsea winning 2-1 at Old Trafford in 2009.
Crucial win.
And United winning 2-1 at Stamford Bridge in 2011. Massive games.
Yeah, those league games were often the absolute crunch points in the title race. The tension was immense because, well, lose that and you might lose the league. Every point mattered hugely.
Even the FA Cup ties, away from the league grind, were classics. That 96 semifinal replay, United winning 2-1. And then Chelsea getting a narrow 1-0 win in the 2017 quarterfinal. Always fiercely fought.
Exactly. Doesn't matter the competition. Chelsea versus Man United, there's always that intensity, the history, the quality on the pitch, the managers. It all feeds into these tight, dramatic cup games.
Right. Let's talk about the players then. The individuals who really defined this rivalry.
Right.
For United, the material rightly starts with Sir Bobby Charlton.
An absolute legend.
Skill, grace, sportsmanship, won everything. Just immense.
Huge figure, not just for United, for English football, full stop. His elegance, his commitment, he set the standard.
And Ryan Giggs, just the longevity, the consistency. 13 Premier League titles.
Incredible.
He must have felt like a permanent fixture, a constant problem for Chelsea for years and years.
His excellence over such a long period was, exceptional. And he always seemed to deliver in those big games against Chelsea. Absolutely pivotal for United's success.
And Cristiano Ronaldo, of course. First spell especially. Right. Dazzling skill, athleticism, goals.
Nightmare for defenders.
Yeah, Chelsea's included.
Ronaldo's impact was just transformative, wasn't it? Those moments of individual brilliance could win those tight games against Chelsea on their own sometimes.
Okay, shifting to Chelsea. John Terry.
The captain.
Long-serving captain, yeah. Commanding defender, leader, lifted so much silverware.
Terry really embodied that modern captain role, didn't he? His leadership, his defensive prowess, fundamental to Chelsea's best years. A massive opponent for United's attackers.
And Frank Lampard, Chelsea's all-time top scorer.
From midfield.
Incredible. That work ethic, that eye for a goal, and those midfield battles he had against Keane, against Scholes.
Defining moments of the rivalry in that era, weren't they? Lampard versus Scholes or Keane, two brilliant, competitive midfielders just going at it. Lampard's contribution to Chelsea was just immense.
And Didier Drogba?
Big game player.
The ultimate big game player. It felt like he saves his best for United sometimes. That physicality, the crucial goals in finals and key league games.
He just had that knack, didn't he? Delivering when it mattered most, holding the ball up, dominant in the air, scoring consistently in those high-stakes games, especially against United. Made him a legend at Chelsea.
So the players were huge, but so were the managers. The managerial maestros, as the material calls them. Sir Alex Ferguson at United first, obviously.
Where else do you start?
Tactical genius, incredible man management, that sheer dominance for so long. Orchestrated some amazing battles against Chelsea managers.
Ferguson's reign was just staggering. His strategic mind, his ability to constantly adapt and outwit rivals, including Chelsea. Those tactical duels, especially with Mourinho, were fascinating.
And Mourinho, fascinating figure, managing both clubs.
Adds a whole layer, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That first spell at Chelsea transformed them. Multiple titles, that intense personality definitely fueled the rivalry. And then ending up at United later.
His arrival at Chelsea really shifted the power balance in England. And his relationship with Ferguson, often spiky, was pure sideline theater. Then him going to United just added this incredible twist to his games against Chelsea.
Then Carlo Ancelotti at Chelsea led them to the double in 2009-10.
First domestic double for them.
Yeah. Quieter figure, maybe, but that attractive attacking football was a real challenge for United.
Ancelotti brought a different style, definitely. And winning the double against that strong United side really showed his quality.
Antonio Conte, too. Came in, won the league first season.
Big impact.
Innovative tactics, really passionate on the touchline. And his rivalry with Mourinho when José was at United, that added even more spice.
Conte's immediate success was pretty remarkable. His tactical setup made Chelsea very hard to beat. And yeah, that touchline energy just mirrored the passion on the pitch.
And lastly, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at United. The material mentions that nostalgia factor, the optimism he brought.
Trying to recapture the glory days.
Yeah, and he had some good results against Chelsea, flashes of brilliance, trying to restore United.
His connection to the club obviously resonated with fans, and while maybe the consistency wasn't always there against Chelsea, there were definitely moments under him that hinted at the rivalry sparking back up.
Okay, let's dig into the Premier League encounters specifically. The battle for supremacy. The material notes those early PL years, both clubs finding their feet, rivalry really taking shape, late 90s, early 2000s.
Well, early Premier League United were absolutely dominant, weren't they?
True.
But then Chelsea's transformation in the 2000s with Abramovich's money, that leveled the playing field. It became a proper fierce battle at the top.
And those massive title deciders in the 2000s, 2010s, Chelsea's 2-1 win at Stamford Bridge in 2007 gets highlighted. Felt like a huge moment.
That was huge, yeah. It let them jump over United in the table, and they went on to win the title. It really announced Chelsea as, consistent title contenders.
And that Mourinho versus Ferguson dynamic in the league. Mourinho's tactics against Fergie's leadership. Chelsea winning 3-0 at Old Trafford in 2006 is mentioned. That felt significant.
Oh, massively symbolic. That dominant win at Old Trafford really showcased Mourinho's tactical edge that day and just hammered home how the power balance was shifting.
Stamford Bridge became a real fortress for Chelsea in these games, didn't it?
Definitely.
Think of that mad 3-3 draw in 2012. Hazard's late goal. Classic example of the drama.
Yeah, Stamford Bridge was incredibly tough for United during Chelsea's peak years. That 3-3 game just summed up how unpredictable and exciting these matches could be.
But we shouldn't forget United's dominance earlier on. The 90s, early 2000s. That comfortable 3-0 win at Old Trafford in 99 on their way to the treble.
Right.
That really showed their superiority back then.
Absolutely. That United team set the standard. They often had the upper hand in those games back then. Just too clinical, too much quality.
Okay, moving to cup clashes and European showdowns.
Yeah.
We touched on the 94 final, but the material also contrasts it with Chelsea's 1-0 win in the 2007 FA Cup final. Drogba's goal.
Two very different finals, same competition. The FA Cup has seen some brilliant chapters in this rivalry. Both teams have had huge moments, created lasting memories. Part of the folklore now.
Even the League Cup, sometimes seen as, secondary.
Still matters between these two.
Yeah. Chelsea winning the semi-final over 2 legs in 2005. United winning at the Bridge in 2019. Still intense.
Even in the League Cup, yeah, that inherent rivalry always comes through. Fiercely contested games, always. Just shows how deep it runs.
And then the European epics. We mentioned Moscow 2008, but also United winning their quarterfinal over 2 legs in 2011. Huge clashes on the biggest stage.
Those Champions League games were the absolute peak, weren't they? Stakes couldn't be higher. Showcased both teams at their best, competing on that grand European stage.
Then there was that slightly odd Europa League final in 2013 in Amsterdam.
Been unusual for both clubs at the time.
Yeah. Chelsea won 2-1. Their first meeting in a major European final, wasn't it?
It was an interesting chapter, both maybe slightly off their usual Champions League perch that season, but still a European trophy for Chelsea and another big final win against United.
And even a Super Cup game in 2021. Chelsea won that one too. Seems like Chelsea might have had the edge in these more recent one-off European games.
Yeah, that Super Cup win is a more recent marker, isn't it? Shows Chelsea can still compete and beat United, even as both teams have gone through changes.
Now the rivalry goes way beyond the pitch. Off the pitch, the fans and atmosphere. Both clubs have absolutely massive, dedicated fan bases globally.
That passion from the fans is just fundamental, isn't it? You
Yeah.
feel it. The atmosphere at Stamford Bridge or Old Trafford when these two play, it's electric. Adds so much to the spectacle.
And the chants. You've got the classics, Blue's the color, Glory, Glory Man United.
And the less complimentary ones about the opposition.
Haha, yeah, the more imaginative ones. All part of the match day experience.
Totally. Those songs, the chants, they're part of the culture of the rivalry. Reflects the history, the banter, sometimes playful, sometimes maybe less so.
The material talks about that real sense of anticipation before every game. And the global reach fans all over the world are tuning in. It's genuinely international.
It really is. The Premier League's global appeal means this rivalry is followed everywhere, passionately. Amplifies its importance.
And now social media just pours fuel on the fire, doesn't it?
Oh, completely. It's like another pitch, isn't it? Constant debate, arguments, winding each other up before, during, after the match. Keeps the rivalry buzzing 24/7.
Okay, zooming out again. The impact on English football. This rivalry, this intensity, it's pushed other clubs too, hasn't it? Increased the competition in the Premier League.
Definitely. Having two teams consistently battling at such a high level for so long, it undoubtedly raises the bar for everyone else in the league, makes the whole league stronger, more intense.
And the tactical innovations, Mourinho versus Ferguson, for example, those ideas spread, did they? Influenced coaching across the league.
Yeah, the strategies, the little tactical tweaks these top managers used against each other, they often get noticed, copied, adapted elsewhere. It influences the whole football landscape.
And the global appeal of the Premier League itself. Chelsea versus United is always a huge fixture internationally.
Massive draw, yeah. Huge for broadcasters, huge for fans worldwide. Contributes massively to the Premier League's global brand and success.
Which leads to the financial side, too. Big implications for both clubs and for the league's growth, fueled by this rivalry.
Absolutely. Their sustained success, their global brands, driven partly by this epic rivalry, has had a huge financial impact. It boosts the economic power of the whole league.
And ultimately, it's just become part of the culture of English football, hasn't it? It inspires generations of fans.
It's woven into the fabric, yeah. New